Looking at the lineup for Northeastern, only 9 active players for the Huskies. They start Erdogan, Visa, Batch, Parker, and Bristol. Speak of a devil. There's the reigning CAA 6th player of the year. Now in a starting role, Bristol starts the scoring in this game. And of course, who else but Dyaisha Fair with the response.
Dyaisha Fair doing what she does best, being able to create a shot for herself and just get it off quickly.
Erdogan trying to create her own shot for Bristol. Strong defense from Verajao. Bristol the board and the score. High off the glass and in.
Bristol is very dominant in the paint, and she's persistent. Those second chance opportunities are something that Syracuse has to do a better job of not being able to let her get those.
Bristol, the 3rd most rebounds on this Huskies team a season ago off the bench. Elena Rice keeps that in bounds after an errant pass from Woolley. Woolley back to Fair, picked up by Erdogan. Had 20 points against Alabama on Thursday, but the Furs in the corner, beating the shot clock, but missing the shot itself, Elena Rice.
Rushed offensively from the Orange, wasn't really able to set anything up, as you saw in that rush shot by Rice.
Here's a clean shot for Parker. Misses off to the right. The junior from Milford, Connecticut. Woolley lofts it in the corner for Fair, who also had 7 assists against the Tide. On the preseason watch list for the Nancy Lieberman Award, given out to the best point guard in the country. No look pass to Woolley. Pull up for 2, and it's smooth. Battled an early season injury, but they missed her scoring early on.
An excellent shot by Woolley, but you have to give credit to the Northeastern defense that has done so well at containing them so far, not waiting till the end to get a shot off.
Erdogan in the corner, getting the shot off of her own. Shooting under 30% from distance on the year, but she gives the Huskies the lead. And there's a big-time swat. Welcome back, Jalen Batts, the denial of the ACC Rookie of the Week. Erdogan on the floor with Woolley, keeps it alive. Dyaisha Fair with the steal from Visa. Elena Rice with the pump fake and missing the bunny. Latham picks up the loose finding and scores on a chaotic possession.
A lot of rushed basketballs. You saw Rice, she had the open shot, just absolutely missed it. Latham able to come and clean it up.
Always keeping it clean on offense is Erdogan, who finds Bristol down low, her 2nd bucket. And the Huskies, who are 0-2 all-time against Syracuse, keep the lead. Woolley off the Verajao screen. Fair in search of her first points. Woolley, the triple. She hits the deck. Whistle comes in late, and that's a foul on the closeout from Batts. Call comes in from one of our 3 officials tonight, Karen Bellotto.
You get a little nervous when you see it, Woolley on the floor. It looked like she grabbed at her ankle at first. You don't want to have her off the court, but again, she looks like to be doing well. But overall, trying to get that shot off in the corner, it just wasn't the shot for her. She tried to play it off as a foul.
Well, is this the shot for her? Maybe not. This is off to the left. Verajao, another chance. A bounce pass, and she finds her fellow 5th-year Elena Rice.
Unselfish basketball by the Orange. That is something they tried to abide by. Verajao being able to see that Rice was open and give it off.
Rice now on the defensive. Finds Bristol again. Through contact. She said, and 1. The basket said, sorry, you'll have to earn yours from the line. Trying to add on to this Huskies lead.
Bristol has been doing incredibly well in the paint, giving Verajao a little bit of difficulties. Bristol, she's an incredibly strong player. As you see, she's in there. She's trying to get rebounds. She's trying to get second chance opportunities. And on top of it, she's creating spots in the paint for herself to get her shot off.
She sinks the free throw. You mentioned her physicality and her production already with 7 points, but has struggled from the line so far this season. The Huskies' worst, 33% from the stripe. She goes 2 for 2. That number is going to go up. And the lead goes up for Northeastern. Checking into the game is Orlai Kiefer, the sophomore, as Bristol checks out. Isa Verajao out for the Orange, and in is Kyra Wood off her 2nd straight double-double on Thursday against Alabama. Elena Rice floats away, misses short, and the rebound goes to Visa. Lead pass from Erdogan. Bats can't get her first bucket back from injury. Kyra Wood steals it away from Bats.
This has been a quick-paced game. Both teams are trying to push the ball.
Kyra Wood can't push it in. Another chance, swatted by the 6'3" Kiefer. Score in transition. It was a dogfight between Erdogan and Fair, and the Husky won. The lead up to 5.
Erdogan is an aggressive player. She's going to get out in transition. That's something that she loves to do. Push the ball and get those easy layups.
Averaged 1.5 steals per game last season. That's her second bucket. Rice, top of the arc. Tries to blow by Visa and gets it to go through the contact. First bucket for Rice. Elena Rice is all right, but Dyaisha Fair is not on the far side of the floor. She's hobbling. Stays in the game as action continues. Erdogan's already got 1 triple, now 2. Her three-point number down 8% this season, fighting through an upper body injury. But when her team is needed her the most in this opening frame, she showed up.
Coach Edwards-Lloyd said that she has wanted to see more out of her, and she's been able to do that so far in this game.
So far in this game, the Huskies lead by 6, trying to pick up their biggest win of the season. Couple of fifth years, Verajao and Rice, but Northeastern has experience as well. Huskies up by 6. Northeastern's made 4 of its last 5 shots, leads by 6. Meanwhile, Syracuse only 2 points from its lead scorer, Dyaisha Fair, and Kalia not on the floor right now after this play.
It looks like she landed on that left leg and just sort of tweaked it. It looks like she rolled her ankle a little bit, and here she is leaving the court, going back into the tunnel. And in that last game against Alabama, we saw her grab at that left leg again. Don't know if that is something to be concerned of or if she's able to come back like she did last game.
Georgia Woolley at the line, her former Buffalo teammate, to cut the deficit to 5. Fair ended up pretty much being lifted off the court in that Alabama game, but still played 35 minutes and had 20 and 7. Dyaisha Fair, one of the best players in the country on the preseason All-ACC team, and as mentioned earlier, a candidate for the top point guard award in the nation in her 5th year of college basketball.
Fair had the opportunity to go to the WNBA entering the draft last season, came back to support this Orange team.
Orelai Kiefer supporting this lead for Northeastern. The sophomore drills the triple. Huskies up 7. Second ACC game of the year for Northeastern, lost by 9 to Boston College last month. Wood over to Woolley. Sophie Burrows into the ball game, the freshman from Australia. Pivots on back. The scoop layup, no good. Woolley with the shot clock expiring with the miss. Bristol, a strong rebound. Yursi Calice, the freshman, originally from the Dominican Republic into the ball game. Back to Erdogan, who directs traffic. Alyssa Latham, she had 5 blocks on Thursday, but there's a steal.
Latham able to get her hands into the passing lanes and create that steal to get it back to the Orange.
Elena Rice catches it, working on bats. All alone for a deep 2. Latham, a bit strong. Kiefer the rebound over Wood. Ahead to Calice, who pulls up for 2 and comes up empty. Bats with a really strong effort. Maybe a bit too strong as she grabs at her right shoulder and is in some serious pain. Tried to deflect the ball back in bounds with Elena Rice fighting for the rebound, and not what you want to see for a Northeastern team that only had 9 active players headed into the game.
A smart play by Bats trying to deflect it off of Rice. But again, just grabbing at that shoulder, must have swung it a little bit too hard trying to get to that play. But as you said, with only 9 players being able to play, you do not want to have another injury for this Northeastern team.
Look at the emotion on the sideline from Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd, the first-year head coach, barking at her Huskies squad, who own a 7-point lead over the Orange late in the first quarter. Injuries for both sides. Dyaisha Fair not on the floor for the Orange. Through traffic, Sanaya Wilson through the trees. Her first bucket of the night.
Getting those rebounds and being able to get a putback is going to be big for the Orange in terms of rebounding. Rebounding is something that they need to be working on, and having Wilson on the court can help with that.
Rebound for Wood after the miss from Erdogan. Rice down the left lane. Good bounce pass and another bucket for the Rochester native Sanaya Wilson. Timeout called by Northeastern. Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd needs a quick break. It's a quick break in the action, only a 30-second one, with the Orange only down 3. And good news for Syracuse, you can see her in the middle. The 5'5" Dyaisha Fair already out of a locker room. Syracuse has needed more bench production as of late, Kalia. In non-conference play early on in the season, the bench was phenomenal. Syracuse still winning, but now under 10 points per game in that regard.
Not a lot of depth has been shown so far as the season has begun to continue. And in that last game, when Fair was out, Woolley said, we have to think about what we are capable of doing when Fair is out, if she ever is out, and what would they be doing if Fair was on the court. And again, you see when she is off the court, there's a little bit of confusion, especially offensively. She's just such a catalyst for this Orange offense. So being able to have her back in these games is important, and keeping her healthy throughout the season.
Bristol bounces it to Erdogan. Over to Cuse. Freshman on freshman, Burrow marks her. Bristol already 8 points. A wide open Maddie Visa. Syracuse gets lucky. Shooting over 40% from deep is the senior, but she comes up short. Woolley out to Burrows, a sidestep 3. Wilson the offensive board. Verajao struggling to keep it in her possession, and she doesn't. Turnover for the Michigan transfer.
This Northeastern team is all over the Orange. Post players crashing on the boards and being able to make it very difficult for the big players on the Orange squad to get a shot off.
Already 3 turnovers each for these two squads. Erdogan, the preseason All-CAA first-team selection. Trying to tightrope the sideline, and Karen Bellotto says, not so fast. Asha Parker, as these two exchange giveaways. Dyaisha Fair on the bench, but not on the floor for Syracuse after an injury earlier on in this game to her lower body. Elena Rice doing the ball handling for the Orange, the former Auburn and Florida A&M transfer. 3rd season with Syracuse. Burrows off the pick. Tries to create her own shot off a glass. Another offensive board for the Cuse. Lots of trouble again for Verajao. Got whacked in the head, but it didn't matter.
Verajao is 6th on the team in rebounding right now despite her size, but being able to get her own rebound and get that put back is going to be big for the confidence in her this game.
Burrows with the steal. Rice out to Woolley. Seconds left on the clock. Georgia Woolley gets it off in time, but can't put it in. Northeastern playing just one of 3 games
a game.
Only 2 points in the first quarter in 6 minutes of play. Off the ball foul against Northeastern's Asha Parker. Too much contact down low on Isa Verajao as she stretches out that left shoulder. Fair averaged 23 points per game over 3 years at Buffalo, now in her 2nd season with Syracuse, following Felicia Leggett Jack here. Verjao again swarmed on the block, but a foul just as she got the shot off.
A lot of contact down low, especially from Dyaisha Bristol, who has just been on top of Verjao this entire game, crashing on Verjao. They know what she's capable of doing, especially in that post position. So just swarming all over her, trying to not let her get anywhere near the paint.
You mentioned the physicality. Already 4 fouls on the Huskies. They go right back to Verjao. She comes up short and nearly gets the rebound over Bristol. It stays with Syracuse, though, as Yursi Cuse couldn't get there. But this is the player, Kalia, that Syracuse missed last year, and Verjao at 6'4".
Absolutely. Size was a big factor for that team last season, and being able to have her, somebody that can square up to the basket and play down low, a travel right there, kind of mismatch her feet trying to turn back to the basket. But Verjao has been so big for this team last game. She had 7 points, just being able to contribute not only offensively but defensively.
Already the second travel and 5th turnover for the Orange. Nearly the 3rd 3 for Erdogan as she claps in frustration before getting back on defense. Northeastern hasn't scored in over 4 minutes, dating back to late in the first quarter. Fair drawing plenty of attention and right through the hands of Verjao. Back-to-back turnovers for the Brazilian. Cuse, who just played a career-high 28 minutes against New Hampshire, gets it over to Erdogan. The seniors play patty cake in the front of a court. Deflected by Rice and stolen away. 2-on-2 for the Orange. Rice trapped on the block. Great transition defense from Northeastern. Verjao trying to show her range. Too hot.
Northeastern has been crashing all over the paint. Verjao having to step out of the paint to get that shot off. And Syracuse has been able to get 30 to 40 points in the paint each game, and that's been tough for them this game.
Bristol all alone in the paint. In the late shot contest from Latham does nothing to stop the senior, who's up to double-digit points.
Bristol said that she's been working on her confidence this season, and you can tell that in this game, she is playing with a ton of confidence.
Well, now she's a starter. She started all but 1 game for Northeastern after exclusively coming off the bench a year ago. That's a confident shot from Rice up and under. It does not go. Both teams with the same amount of made shots, but Syracuse with 11 more attempts. Cuse for 3. 0 for 4 against the Wildcats on Wednesday, and she's shooting around 20% so far in her freshman year from deep.
She has a quick release, and that's going to be difficult to defend if she starts getting those shots to knock down.
Scored over 1,000 points in high school. Originally from the Dominican Republic, but played for high school ball just outside of Boston. Elena Rice shows her shot. Sinks one from the free throw line, and Syracuse only down 1.
Rice being able to read that ball screen, seeing that they're going to go cover Verjao and being able to get that shot off.
Erdogan working against Verjao. Threads the needle to Bristol. Under 10 on the shot clock. The veteran point guard steps to the side and misses off to the left. Another rebound for Latham, who had 12 of them against Alabama. Calls for the ball, kicks it out to Rice. Woolley in open lane, through the contact, draws the blocking foul on Bristol. Already 5 fouls for Northeastern. Good news for Coach Edwards-Lloyd. Jalen Batts making her way back onto the floor after a shoulder injury earlier in this game. Northeastern can't afford to get into foul trouble.
Northeastern, not many bench players. Again, only playing with 9 as you see Coach Lloyd sort of pushing Bristol to the end of the bench and saying, get back over here and do what you have to be doing. She's been having troubles getting into foul trouble in these past couple of games. And again, you have no space to be having anybody taken out of the game.
Georgia Woolley out of the game for Syracuse. Sophie Burrows in. Woolley's 2 free throws gives Syracuse its first lead of the game. Undefeated against non-Power 5 teams this season, but struggling early on against Northeastern. Erdogan, a good move, but Burrows, a great reaction. Parker loses the ball, and Rice gets her paws on it.
That was great effort by Burrows, being able to get her hand on the ball twice to create that sort of play.
Cross-court connection. That's a play. Elena Rice to Sophie Burrows. Orange up 4.
That's something that you want to see out of Burrows. She only had 1 point in that last game against Alabama, but you know that she can shoot from behind the arc, and you want to see her getting those threes off a lot more.
Another turnover for Northeastern. That is the 8th for the Huskies. Trying to snap a 2-game slide. That's not how an undermanned team is going to do it. Dyaisha Fair still in the ball game as Rice brought it up the floor. Rice attacking Visa. So he flips one up behind her back, and then clothesline from behind is Rice as Parker took her to the hardwood. Going to be Northeastern basketball. One more look. Rice is taking a lot of heavily contested shots off a dribble drive. But with Dyaisha Fair injured earlier in this game, who knows how much of an ability she has to create her own shot right now. Fumbled by Kiefer at the top of the key. Visa open the corner. She'll let it fly. Burrows with a great effort in transition. Northeastern gets back. And so does Erdogan with her second takeaway.
A sloppy look by Burrows. She was able to get that steal, but coming back, she just got a little bit mixed up, got a little bit excited about the ball, and just threw it right to the other player.
When you see an open Dyaisha Fair, how could you not get excited? One of the best three-point shooters in the ACC. Erdogan floats it to Parker. Visa finds Batch trying to beat the shot clock. Rattles around and no good. Rebound for Wilson. The scoring is slowed down. Northeastern hasn't had a bucket in the last 3.5 minutes. Syracuse a 7-0 run. Rice with a lot of pressure. Gets it to Latham. Pulls up for 2. Just short off the front of the iron.
Syracuse has been forced to take shots a little bit outside of their comfort zone, especially coming from the bigs. Latham usually not shooting from that distance. She can shoot anywhere, but again, playing against Alabama, she likes to get her points in the paint.
Visa can shoot from anywhere, but Latham might have got a piece of that one. As the ball stays with Northeastern. Syracuse leads by 4, but didn't have the advantage until midway through this second quarter. Took a cross-court connection to do it to the Australian, Sophie Burrows.
Behind the back, are you kidding me? And there's the 3-ball. Clark, step back, good!
I'm too fast. I'm in control. Foot on the gas.
That's the money play right there. Is there a better closer in the game?
You don't want me to be better than you. You don't want me to be better than you. You don't want me to be better than you.
The reigning National Player of the Year in action on Wednesday against Iowa State. Dyaisha Fair on the floor when she played Iowa State a few weeks ago, over 20 points. But Kalia right now against Northeastern, just 2. As out of a timeout, the Huskies can't beat the shot clock.
Fair getting hurt earlier. She's been playing pretty limited, but again, Fair is somebody that can get hot and is just so capable for this team. And just being able to be here right now, you can tell that she's kind of just on the court to be on the court a little bit. It's not seeming that she's running anything offensively and hasn't really been getting any shots up.
Right, just one shot for the second active leading scorer in the country. Sanaya Wilson, she scored a couple baskets today and now has a chance to add some more from the foul stripe. The foul coming in from Jalen Batts.
Sanaya Wilson being able to come into this game after not playing in that Alabama game and being able to contribute, especially down low, when you have somebody like Bristol who is been all over Verajao the entire game and being able to get to that charity stripe.
Misses her first from the stripe, now making the Rochester native 4 of 7 from the line on the year. Head coach Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd for the Huskies preaching to her team to keep their arms fully extended down low to avoid those fouls as the Huskies continue to get into foul trouble late in the first half. Erdogan off a pick from Kiefer, the former Arizona point guard in her second season with Northeastern rather. Sidestep triple, looking for her third of the game. Dyaisha Fair with the rebound. Ahead to Burrows. Hesitates. Woolley with a great look. Now an even greater look after a great shot fake.
What a shot by Woolley, being able to get that pump fake in, knowing that Batts was going to jump, and she jumped quite high, and Woolley getting off that shot and just being able to look exactly how she was looking last season, getting more comfortable as she's been able to get a couple more reps in every game.
And she gets it done on both ends, too, taking a vicious blow from Batts, but it's a blocking foul.
You see Batts in the air. Georgia puts the ball up, brings it back down, and takes her shot. Something so comfortable for Georgia Woolley. Great seeing her shooting from behind the arc.
She really could use more makes from deep for her confidence. Just 3 of 25 from distance headed into the night after shooting 30% from downtown a year ago. Batts with a wild feed intended for Parker. Battling through a shoulder injury that she sustained in the first quarter is Batts. Burrows can't get a triple of her own. Visa finds the loose ball. Northeastern struggling to score here in the second frame, missing each of their last 6 shots. Batts trying to fake out Wood and gets a little lucky. Kyra Wood using that 7-foot wingspan, either that 6'6" wingspan, but not good enough on the shot contest.
Batts, she came out of Boston College, an ACC opponent, has been able to show her true colors for this Northeastern team coming off of an injury.
Yeah, this is her 8th career game against Syracuse. She's been there, done that. Erdogan slinks through the lane. Nifty layup down low after the hop step from Parker under the basket. First make in their last 7 from the floor. Burrows calls for it. But the first to Wilson. Can't find her on the baseline, and Wilson says that's her bad. Heavily guarded by Kiefer. Latham checks in for Burrows. Syracuse making the substitution.
It's good to see Burrows trying to feed the post. She was just a little bit too high up on the key. If she drove further to the baseline, being able to give a bounce pass into the paint, it would have been a little bit of an easier look.
Injury on the floor in a game that's been marred by injuries. Derin Erdogan, the leader of his Northeastern team, one of just 2 players in the conference who was named to the preseason first-team All-CAA list, and pretty emotional as we'll get another look to see where potential contact may have came in. She was right next to Woolley before hobbling off and knowing something was seriously wrong, and now she'll be helped off the floor by her own head coach, Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd.
Something we saw earlier out of Fair, just having that hard step, just causing some sort of pain. It seems as though it was something in her ankle that maybe sort of tweaked when she landed right next to Woolley. It didn't seem like she stepped on Woolley's foot at all. It seems like a self-inflicted sort of thing. But again, when you have your leader out, as you just saw for the Syracuse Orange, having your leader out is going to make it even more difficult for this Huskies team that only has 9 eligible players, now 8, and you still have a whole other half of basketball to play.
Edwards-Lloyd is going to have to get crafty with her limited lineup, and she's going to have to rely on Yursi Khalees. Played a career-high 28 minutes against New Hampshire on Wednesday. Now she's going to have to play a heck of a lot more. Turnover for Northeastern. That is the 11th for the Huskies. Slips out of the hands of Asha Parker. Only 2 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock late in the first half of a 6-point game. Fair cutting through an injury of her own. Left in the first quarter. What a denial from behind. Jalen Batts swarms in and stuffs Sanaya Wilson. There's a foul, and it's on the Huskies, so it won't matter too much. But what an athletic play.
Latham trying to feed Sanaya Wilson down low. Batts just coming out of the blue. She has been flying all over this court today, and that is her second block of the night. Again, coming off of that shoulder injury, which we saw earlier, and just being able to have that defensive play. But again, Kyra Wood being able to make up for it and get to the line.
Wood missing the first free throw. Coach Felicia Leggett-Jack trying to improve her team to 7-1 with its 4th straight win.
Wood, as she knocks down that second free throw, she's been a contributor for the Orange coming off of the bench. She's coming off of 2 consecutive double-doubles.
Only averaged 3 points and 4 rebounds a game in her first season with Syracuse a year ago. Shot clock expiring. It doesn't matter for Jalen Batts. A back and forth for quarter. Back out here in the start of the second half, as the Orange try to improve to 3-0 all-time against the Huskies. Elena Rice tried to find Sanaya Wilson off a pick and roll, and not enough dribbling from Rice before the fact.
A strong move by Wilson, who has been so aggressive in this game today. Again, with the feet, just a little bit of a mix-up due to that travel, but so far this entire game, she's been able to showcase who she can be in the paint.
In the paint, Bristol has been a force. A team-high 10 points. Wilson, strong defense once, but not twice. Parker with the second chance bucket. Rice ahead to Fair. Has scored double-digit points in all but one of her games in 2 years with Syracuse. Wilson trying to go for double-digit points for her first time this season. She's up to 9, tied for the team lead. In her second year with the Orange, was a monster at Bishop Kearney High School in the Rochester area. Erdogan, frustrated, she can't float it in. Bristol with a heave, a 3rd chance from Parker. Wilson can't keep it, so it stays with Northeastern. Syracuse obviously with the size advantage, +8 on the boards.
A size advantage for Syracuse, but this Northeastern team is aggressive. They still have gotten those second chance opportunities in terms of rebounding. Syracuse is leading in rebounding, but in that last possession, they had 3 chances at a basket.
Erdogan can't put in the basket. Bristol, the second chance, and she draws the foul on Wilson. A key bench player a year ago was Bristol, averaging 8 points per game. The best bench player in all of his CAA. But in the starting role tonight, she has been a wrecking ball in the paint, and Syracuse looking for some more size. Checks in Alyssa Latham.
Bristol has been a leader for the Northeastern team last season, even coming off the bench. She actually brought the team together and said, we need to start winning. She brought the team in for a meeting, and they laid out all the goals that they had for the season. And Bristol said that she was the one that kind of sparked that, and the rest of the team followed. So she's been able to play one of her biggest roles last season, and again, coming back to do that this season.
Wins a couple from the foul stripe and won a national championship in high school at New Hope Academy outside of D.C. Georgia Woolley with the response on the other end. Double-digit points for her.
What a pretty pull-up shot for Georgia Woolley, something she's so good at.
A 3-level score. who is doing most of the scoring for Syracuse. Bats can't make the pull-up shot of her own. Syracuse still ahead by 5. It's had the lead since midway through the second quarter. Kyra Wood, top of the arc. Woolley floats it down low to Latham. Pretty touch from the freshman. After her 23-point performance against Alabama, that's only her second make from the field.
Latham a bit quiet in this game, again coming off of that such a huge showcase in that Alabama game. But even in the Las Vegas tournament, she only had 13 points in 2 games, and she said that in that last game she needed to step up for her sisters on the team.
Nobody stepped up defensively to guard Erdogan for Northeastern as the senior scores with ease. Wood fouled as she takes a shot from behind. Dyaisha Bristol gets physical, and this has been a very physical Northeastern team, Kalia. Bristol, especially the enforcer down low.
Kyra Wood has been able to demonstrate what she's been capable of doing down in the paint. But again, Bristol is just such a force right in front of the paint. But again, she's getting herself in foul trouble tonight, which is something Northeastern just simply can't have.
That's why Orlai Kiefer, the sophomore who made her first career start in the loss to New Hampshire last week, checks in for Bristol. Wood back to the foul stripe where she's 1 for 2 today, and now 2 for 3. Began her collegiate career at Temple. Originally from Buffalo, was recruited by Felicia Leggett-Jack to play at Buffalo, but just didn't want to stay in Western New York. Said when she heard Coach Jack was headed to Syracuse and she hit the portal, it was a perfect match. She goes 1 for 2 from the stripe again. Syracuse up 6. Parker against Wood, scores, plus the foul. Northeastern not going away after the break. Let's get one more look at this one. Wood's got the size down low, but just a little too much contact.
And that's excellent footwork by Parker, being able to get her shot up and then switch sides, bringing it back up. Parker has been somebody that has come off the bench in the past couple of games for Northeastern as well as being able to be in a leading role and has really contributed offensively.
The third leading scorer on this Huskies team that's excited even after the miss from the line for Parker. Latham trying to box out Bats, and a foul as she pushed Bats out of bounds.
That's a tough call on a foul. She's just trying to do her job in the post and get those rebounds, but called for a foul. Boxing out, that's got to be tough.
Northeastern, the team that's been in foul trouble all night. Bats with a contested shot with the defense, but the Butterfingers for Syracuse again. This time Woolley gives Northeastern another chance to cut into a 4-point deficit.
Silly mistakes by Syracuse is giving a lot of momentum to this Northeastern team.
Unlucky roll for Bats, who yells at herself after another miss. Dyaisha Fair on the floor, but not doing the ball handling. Instead, that's Elena Rice, who earns herself some free throws after the foul from Visa. Elena Rice proved in the South Point shootout, Kalia, that she could have a featured role in this offense.
After coming off the bench last season, now she's already averaging 13 points a game, and over in that Las Vegas shootout, she was averaging 21 points between those 2 games. She has shown that she is somebody that can be a leader for this team.
One of the older players on the team, 24 years old, originally from the East Coast of Central Florida. One of the biggest personalities and one of their best scorers. Goes 2 for 2 from the line. Erdogan has scored a bucket since her late injury in the first half. She's up to 10. Latham, the deflection, and in transition, Fair. Ahead to Woolley. 11 points for the Australian. Fair with the shot fake. Working on Bats and working in the bucket. Still hobbling a bit is Dyaisha Fair, but the Warrior is gutting through it on only her second make of a night.
Getting that drive, being able to finish left-handed. Dyaisha Fair is just so good at what she does.
Erdogan open in the corner. but pulls up from the block and misses. Northeastern had trouble draining shots in the second quarter, and that's continued after the break. Cross court to Woolley. The lengthy keeper can't make a play. Off the dribble. Woolley for 2. She's up to 13.
Woolley, she's so quick and she's so long, being able to get around that defender and extend that right arm up to get the bucket off. She's excellent at that.
The double-digit lead no longer after the floater from Erdogan to give her 12. Woolley's going to attack the basket again before kicking out to Rice. Drops her defender, but can't drop in the reverse layup. Tries to get it on the second effort. Bit of a collision as Rice slowly works her way back up. Not afraid to go for the acrobatics down low and running for that ball. Batted it right into her face. She's all right.
She's okay. You get knocked in the dome once or twice.
All right. In the dome, in the dome, in the dome.
In the dome. We're in the dome.
If you didn't know. Syracuse trying to pick up its 25th straight win at home against a non-conference opponent. Plays like Tyra Woods are going to help extend that streak. Fair to an open Woolley. Another great shot fake, but just short on the 3. Key for the rebound.
Back to that block by Woods. She is second on the team in blocks, just right behind Alyssa Latham. Again, coming off the bench, she proves that she needs to be in every single game.
Derin Erdogan has played in every single game for Northeastern since transferring from Arizona 2 years ago. Leads the squad with 14 points. That's the Huskies back within 6. Fair only with 4. Her pass batted by Bats. And in transition, here comes Kelpie. Kelly slows it down. The Huskies averaging just under 60 points per game. Need to take their time on the offensive end. Bats behind the back. Slinking through the lane and scoring on a masterful individual effort.
A couple of defensive switches around the perimeter just allowed Bats to just kind of slide by Woolley and get that shot off.
6-0 run for Northeastern. It doesn't end there. Latham ends it, though, with a fantastic soaring rebound and score off the miss from Woolley. Timeout on the floor. Northeastern in search of its first Power 5 win of the year. And efforts from Jalen Bats are going to keep it close in the second half. Owning a 6-point lead against Northeastern, and the Huskies, Kalia, still keeping it close because their best player, Derin Erdogan, battling through injury, has been great in the second half.
Erdogan, she has 14 points, and again, battling through that injury, showing that she has a certain level of tenacity. She's an aggressive player, and head coach Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd said that she's been wanting to see more out of her and that she needs to be seeing more out of her and wants her to be more aggressive and get those shot opportunities and know when to give the ball to somebody else and just facilitate for her team, and she has been excellent, especially in the second half.
Has the 3rd most assists in the CAA this season and 3 assists tonight for the second-year starting point guard. Gets it over to Bats, who swings it down low to Bristol, and that's a turnover. Great defense from Alyssa Latham. Another break on the floor. Why not? Stay with us on the other side. Syracuse up 6.
My daughter says she works in B2B, where she sells SEO and MRM to CPGs. I don't know how this happened. She was speaking in complete sentences before she was 2.
Parents don't get B2B marketing.
100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. Named after the late, great Jim Valvano, former national championship winning head coach at NC State, gave an unbelievable speech at the ESPYs just months before his passing from the terrible disease. Dyaisha Fair and company trying to gain separation here in the 3rd quarter. Couple timeouts in succession. A travel called on Elena Rice before she flipped it in. She thought she had an and one.
Rice looking confused, as you said, thought she had an and one. What a great drive to the basket, but a lot of travel calls in this game today.
For Syracuse, it's turnover number 10. Both teams with double-digit giveaways. Bats over to Erdogan, a team-high 14 points for the native of Istanbul. Bats gets by Verejao, another tough shot. Does not drop. The veterans out on the floor for the Orange. Rice, Verejao, Fair, all fifth years. Alongside a couple of freshmen in Latham and Burrows. Fair against Visa. Burrows the trifecta. Perfection. Second triple tonight as the fifth year connects with the freshman.
Burrows with the catch and shoot. She said that's her bread and butter, and she's not kidding when she says that. She is shooting perfectly behind the arc today.
She said before the season, pass me the ball on the three-point line, I'm going to shoot it. And she's 2 for 4 from deep tonight. Bats with a second consecutive shot. Frustrated after the miss. The Orange trying to add of a 9-point lead. Dyaisha Fair can't make her third shot of the game. Foul on the rebound, even though it was Latham who went up and over Bats. It's the Northeastern player charged with the violation. Third team foul on the Huskies in the first against the fifth year. Played the first 3 years of her collegiate career at Boston College, originally from Virginia, just outside of D.C. Verejao, that one toilet bowls out. For Latham, another strong effort. It stays with the Orange.
And that's a good move by Verejao as well. Back to the basket, sort of post up, being able to square up to the basket. Didn't fall for her, but again, those are some shots that she needs to keep taking.
Bristol picked up her third foul, something to monitor the rest of the way. Rice swings it to Burrows. She'll shoot it, and she'll score it again. Back-to-back threes for Sophie Burrows, and the Orange up double digits.
Burrows just has such a beautiful shot from behind the arc. Again, loves that catch and shoot. Wasn't able to show a lot in that last Alabama game, but getting hot and contributing, especially with somebody like Fair off the court, on the court, but not able to contribute just as much today.
Fair, one of the leading scorers in the ACC. You see her on the far side of the screen just hobbling up the floor. Only 4 points in 25 minutes. Verejao took the charge and got the ball back for Syracuse.
Fair with 4 points. Her lowest scoring game was against Northern Iowa, which showing at 9.
Elena Rice hits the deck hard as she tries to make her way up the floor, grabbing onto that right arm. Obviously fouled in the act of shooting. Verejao makes sure she's okay. And she is, as she'll go to the line for 2 shots. Putting the hard in hardwood here from the dome, but good to see Elena Rice trying to make a couple free throws to get up to double digits on the game. A team that, you know, this is the identity Felicia Leggett-Jack wants to build, Kalia. Sure, they've got talented players, but they've got to play to their full extent. They've got to play like Dyaisha Fair does, gritting through it.
Coach Jack says that mental toughness is the biggest thing for this team, and she's going to be difficult on you, especially in practices. She says, I'm going to get on them, but it's for moments like this where when you have a player such as Fair out, who else can contribute to this team? And Rice has been able to do that all season long thus far, and again, showcasing that in that hard foul right there.
Rice goes 1 for 2 after that hard foul you mentioned from Derin Erdogan. Georgia Woolley checks back in, Felicia Leggett-Jack favorite, the former MAC Freshman of the Year with FLJ 2 seasons ago at Buffalo. Maddie Visa held scoreless. One of the top 3-point shooters in the CAA. Still can't break her slump. The senior now 0 for 4 in 2 for 21 in her last 3 games from deep. Last possession of the third quarter. Shot clock turned off. Orange on a 9-0 run. Fair out to Woolley. Just short. Erdogan, 3 seconds. As Burrows pressures her up the floor. Erdogan can't bank it in. Syracuse has struggled. This sounds a lot like the work that Felicia Leggett-Jack has done in her second season as the Orange head woman. Georgia Woolley, one of her best additions over these last 2 seasons, extends the Orange lead to 15, and the Orange run dating back to last quarter, 11 straight points. Northeastern trying to avoid dropping its 3rd straight game under first-year head coach Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd, who faces a tough test tonight with only 9 active players. Shot clock winding down on Erdogan. Kicks out to Cuse. Down low to Parker. Extra pass to Bristol. Swatted by Verajao. Parker can't beat the buzzer. The emphasis in the offseason for Syracuse was defense, and a great 24-second possession there.
An intense defensive run from the Orange. Verajao just being able to get in and swatting at the ball every chance that she got. And again, as you said, defense has been an emphasis for this Orange team, and Verajao has been able to be somebody that can be a shot blocker as well as a rim protector.
And a scorer. Her second bucket of the game to give her 4. It's a 13-0 run for SU. Finally creating separation as Erdogan stuck to the floor. Visa tries to reset it as Woolley takes a tumble and giggles as things are getting slippery. Bristol open from the block, but not for long after Verajao with a strong closeout. Syracuse hitting its groove. No look pass to Verajao. How about some rain? Timeout Northeastern.
Why not?
Back-to-back buckets for the Michigan transfer. A fist pump as she hits the bench. The Orange up 20. Tonight for the Orange, making defenders fly and making buckets sing. Kalia, a team-high 15 for the Australian.
Last season, Woolley was the leading scorer right behind Fair. And as we've seen, Fair hasn't been able to contribute in this game. And Woolley knows exactly how to step up playing with Fair these past couple of seasons and knowing how to get it going offensively.
Also a couple boards and 3 dimes. Woolley, the second leading scorer on Syracuse a season ago, with Dyaisha Fair being Batman and she was Robin, but Fair dealing with a bit of a lower body problem, tweaking what looked to be her ankle in transition in the first quarter, but toughing through it. She's only got 4. Missed for Kiefer, and on the follow-through, Bats can't put it in. Somebody else who suffered a shoulder problem earlier in this game, but with only 9 active players for the Huskies, has played with everything she's got. Fair, only her 4th shot and a miss, as Verajao gets batted in the face. Erdogan finds a wide-open Maddie Visa. Her slump continues. 0 for 5 on the game. For somebody who, through the first 5 games, was shooting over 60% from deep. Keeper from deep with a miss. Somehow the offensive board for Visa. No-look pass from Erdogan. Erdogan looks for her 3rd triple. Rattles it in. Cuts into the 20-point deficit.
And that's where Coach Jack talks about rebounding. You can't have a team get 2nd and 3rd chance opportunities, allowing Erdogan to finish with a 3.
Can't give Dyaisha Fair a good chance. Just once through 2 seasons with the Orange has she been held to single-digit points. That gives her 6 on the game. But Georgia Woolley's been the star with the steal. The ball trickles to Fair on an island. She scores. I mean, that's automatic.
Fair, she's just not Fair, being able to play the entire game, clearly facing some sort of injury, just a little bit down with whatever happened with that leg, and being able to get 2 consecutive shots. She can't be stopped.
When she's going, it's hard to stop this orange team. About to improve to 7-1 with just over 6 minutes to play. What did you say, Kalia? She can't be stopped. Another three-pointer for Fair.
Can't stop, won't stop Fair.
Erdogan into the lane. As Syracuse is ready to sub in 3 players. Absolutely nowhere for the senior to go. Burrows takes it away. Woolley over to Burrows for 3. Woolley an easy board and score. The Australian tries to feed her fellow countrywoman. It doesn't work, but it works down low.
Woolley wide open for that rebound. Easy putback for her. She's having a fun night.
17 points for Woolley. Obviously, the most fun would be a win, and Syracuse up by 25. Timeout on the court. Syracuse women's basketball wrapping up its non-conference slate over these next few weeks. Same can be said for Syracuse men's basketball, who faces an Ivy League foe tomorrow. Cornell in town. That one a late 8 o'clock tip-off on ACC Network. A long-standing Central New York rivalry and a one-sided one, although Cornell's been good this year.
That's going to be an exciting matchup for Syracuse tomorrow, but another New York foe, that Colgate game earlier this season. What an exciting win for the Orange, being able to come back after losing to Colgate for 2 seasons, coming back, being able to win, want to face another upstate foe and get a win tomorrow.
One of the largest comebacks in ACC history that was for the men. Dyaisha Fair, 8 points in this 4th quarter, has made back-to-back threes to give her 12 on the game. Bristol, who is scoring early with 8 first-quarter points with the miss. Latham and Bats battle for the ball. And it goes to the Orange, who have subbed in Kennedy Perkins and Lexi McNabb in the backcourt, as Fair slowly makes the way to the bench, at least momentarily. She's trying to walk off. It's been a tough night for her, gotten through injury. She's still on the floor. 3 guards for the Orange alongside Sanaya Wilson and Kyra Wood. Perkins, the sophomore from just outside of Chicago. McNabb, another sophomore from Arizona. Fair, one-on-one with Kelsey. And another bucket. Give her 10 points in this 4th quarter alone. You can't stop her. You can only hope to contain her.
Call her miss 4th quarter, because even against Alabama getting hurt, being able to come back in that 4th quarter and provide for the team. Here again, 4th quarter. She's playing like DeMar DeRozan missed your 4th quarter.
Okay. Miss Chicago. Had to bust that reference out for the Bulls.
For the one time.
Earlier in the game, we were promoting Caitlin Clark of Iowa as one of the best closers in the game as Bats get fouled. But Dyaisha Fair, who's right behind her on the leaderboard for most points in the country, has been the closer for Syracuse tonight. The Orange on a 12-2 run, mostly off of buckets from Fair.
2.
Bats trying to add on to her 8 points, but comes up short on her first free throw. Had a breakout season with Northeastern last year after transferring from Boston College. 2nd on the Huskies in assists and 3rd in steals on a Northeastern team that won a share of the CAA regular season title and was bounced in the conference tournament semifinals. Saw its head coach and Bridgette Mitchell leave for Fordham, and Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd picking up where she left off. Sanaya Wilson can't snag the board away from Asha Parker. Orange up 26 late in the game.
Looks like she tried to pass it off to Wood, but Asha Parker was able to just sneak right in there and get it back to the Northeastern side.
Derin Erdogan hasn't been quiet tonight. Give her 20 points. Finally, 50 on the scoreboard for Northeastern. In games like this, where it's always going to be tough for a mid-major to take on a Power 5 team. Nice to see Derin Erdogan have her best offensive performance of the season, given that her efficiency headed into this game was not very strong, as Syracuse is going to head to the line.
And that's what Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd said, that she wanted to see more out of Erdogan because she knew that she was capable of more. And so far this season, her highest scoring game was against Merrimack earlier with 17 points, and she is having a career-high game today. It looked like she was down earlier, but able to get through the game and fight for her team despite what may have happened with her leg, and just showcasing her offensive capabilities and ability to be a leader.
Well, Erdogan said after 2 years riding the bench at Arizona, a team that made the national championship game her freshman year, she knew it was time for her to lead her own team and doing the best she can against Syracuse tonight. Another tough shot for Bats doesn't drop. Parker for rebound. No look feed to Bristol. Doubled on the block. Under 10 on the shot clock for Erdogan and the Huskies. Down 24. Pull-up three. It has been her night. Only shooting 29% from distance headed into the game. Erdogan 5 of 8 from downtown. McNabb over to Fair. She thought about that.
She can do it too.
Stumbles with Bats, turns it over. One of her lone blemishes of this fourth quarter, where she scored 10 of her 14. Loaded to Bristol on the block, and through Wood's defense, she scores. Give her 14 on the game, only 2 scorers in double figures for Northeastern.
Bristol had 2 on her, still able to get that shot off. Again, such a presence in the paint.
Perkins in the paint and one. Not to be denied against the much taller 6-foot Jalen Bats. A chance for one more at the stripe.
Kennedy Perkins getting to the paint. She's small, but she plays big, getting an and one here. Again, she had a couple people on her. Bats been trying to block everybody today, still able to get to the line with an and one. But speaking of Chicago, Kennedy Perkins also right outside of Chicago. She said that her first game she saw was the Bulls with Derrick Rose playing at the time. She said that he was the best player she has ever seen, and that she's been trying to play basketball ever since then. And here she is today, looking right after Derrick Rose.
Rose, the youngest MVP in NBA history. Still kicking it with the Grizzlies. Erdogan, a game-high 23 points. Goes up one-on-one against the freshman, Marlena Trentafilli. Georgia Woolley also back in the ball game. She leads the Orange with 17. Perkins called Syracuse her dream school, and now she's making her dream come true, helping the Orange pull away for what's going to be its 7th win of the young season. Syracuse on the road to play Ohio on Saturday. Northeastern, meanwhile, gets a much-needed break, a 13-day layoff before picking it up against Holy Cross. Bristol to go to the line for 2 shots after the contact from Trentafilli, and Zanaya Wilson talks with her about what went wrong there.
And you mentioned that break. That's something that the Huskies need, especially with all the injuries that they are dealing with. Everybody on the team just needs a break physically, especially if you want to continue the rest of the season unsure on who's going to be able to continue to play. Bats, as you see on the bench, holding what looks to be a heat pad on that shoulder, which she seems to have dealt with the entire game.
Bristol makes the first. Bats, who came back from a concussion just today. And you can see it's been a long day for her. 9 points, 5 assists. Doing everything she can to keep it close, but the Orange 22 points ahead. Somebody who Northeastern needs to come back, and we haven't mentioned tonight, one of the best players in the CAA, Jemima Motema. a third-team all-conference selection a year ago. Battling through a hand injury.
This season, she was voted for the preseason all-second team, and last season she led the team in steals with 54. Somebody that you need back on this Husky squad.
Huskies picked to finish third in the conference, and they begin conference play in January. Parker misses off to the left. Under a minute to go from the Dome, where the Orange are about to pick up its 25th consecutive win against a non-conference opponent.
Perkins giggling after that shot a little bit. Knew she maybe didn't need to take it, but why not have a heat check at the end of this game?
The pressure is low. It wasn't early on, just a 5-point game at halftime. Syracuse pulled away shortly after the halftime break. Shot clock winding down on Bristol. Body sent to Philly, but misses. And one last turnover for the Huskies. 18 turnovers for Northeastern. That's been a story of a game. Dome gets to its feet and congratulates the Orange on win number 7. Dyaisha Fair battled through injury all game long in a physical contest, and it was her wing woman, Georgia Woolley, with a game-high 17